Well, I mean, I remember it in the 1960s when it opened. It was fantastic. We were teenagers then, and they used to have discos every Saturday evening. No bar, because we were all under 18s, and we used to dance here. That was my first recollection of the Civic. And then coming back, as I said, then when I came back from university, it was shows from 1972 until early 2000s, really, I think. I mean, really, you're not seeing it at its best now, but it's always been a really, really well-used venue. It was great for Heywood to have its own sort of little theatre, even though, as you said, the stage isn't that big. It was always home from home, really. And we were always made very, very welcome when we came to put a show on. The staff at the time when I was involved, they were fabulous. They just sort of welcomed us, and it was home from home. We were always brought up with theatre and music, but I was quite a shy child actually, so I had no particular interest for performance as a child. I suppose I only came out of my shell in terms of having a little bit more confidence was when I started training to teach. As I sort of started work, I was at a bit of a loose end friendship-wise, and that's when I first joined the Heywood Operatic and Dramatic Society. So I was aged 21. The first show I actually did was 1973. Odd lines here and there, and then mainly chorus work, which was singing and dancing when we were younger. I met my husband through that. He just lived for the theatre, it was his life. And he was heavily involved in theatre groups all around the local area, throughout Lancashire, really. I suppose the children got involved as well, so from a very early age, our children were involved in the shows and things that we used to put on. We all took part. And there is just something magical about the whole thing, seeing the sets come together, the makeup, hearing the orchestra. It certainly brings tears to my eyes, sometimes going back to saying when the whole family were involved, maybe across from the wings I was standing in, across the other side, I'd see my husband with his clipboard because he'd been producing that particular show and he was just checking everything was fine before the curtain opened. And I was a member of Heywood Operatic Society between 35 and 40 years of my life. When I retired from work, I said to my husband at the time, I'd like to do sort of a charity concert. And he said, well, if you want to do it, I'll help you with it. And then, of course, I'd only been retired about 3 months when he died suddenly. So that didn't happen. And so it was something I was still wanting to do. So 12 months after his death, we did put on a big charity concert in his memory. It was just a case really of me just immersing myself in these things, I think to keep myself busy so that I didn't have time to get down in the dumps and plus because he was so passionate about anything to do with the arts, I felt I wanted to carry on his legacy a little bit. I'm happy when I see other people enjoying themselves. I suppose in a way I've always been more of what I call an organiser rather than someone with a lot of flair. The community choir was something, again, I'd wanted to do for quite some time. And again, I didn't do it totally by myself. I had people to help me. But we were given a grant by the Heywood Together Trust. We had our first rehearsal, January 2011, hoping to maybe encourage 20 or so people there. And on the first rehearsal, I think we had about 46 members. It just gives people a buzz. And you make new friends and have a good laugh. I've made a lot of new friends myself. I don't think I fully appreciate sometimes how much people do get out of singing and performing as part of a group. But for some people, it's the highlight of their week and it makes them feel so much better. I mean, they do say singing is so good for the mind, and I genuinely do believe that. And I do think it gives you that, just gives you a lift. It just takes you away from the mundane. It's just good for the soul, isn't it? And I think we need it at the moment more than ever. because so much bad in the world, isn't there? And so much going on really in terms of war and all that sort of thing. I think you just need that little outlet, something. There's nothing better, you can be as nervous as can be when you've rehearsed something, but once you get in front of that live audience, even if you're only a small part, you get the lights and you see all the smiling faces, and I think it really lifts both the people on stage and off stage. So maybe it's always done that for people, I don't know. When the people used to go around, the travelling players, when they used to go from village to village, I suppose they got the same sort of thing. The people enjoyed them coming and the people performing got so much out of it.